Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Romance Nights. We are your hosts, Kolleen.
And I'm Marjorie. Tonight we will be reviewing Bull Rush by author Maggie Rawdon. This is a second chance romance with dark elements and surprise plot twists. Before we start discussing the book, I want to remind everyone to please check the author's trigger warnings. Was there trigger warnings on this? I'm curious. I forgot about it.
I think people just do it now.
Okay. Well, anyway.
You know, you and I just go right past it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember because like usually when I open the book on Kindle, like my Kindle, my e-reader, it usually goes either to the prologue or or chapter one, whichever is the first chapter. It doesn't like go to the cover and stuff like that.
Oh no! Oh, I love the cover.
Usually, like I wanted to like go to like sometimes I'll try to find the dedication just to see what the dedication is, but. But anyway. All right. Let's start with, I think you should go first. Book rating and spice rating.
I liked the book. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I know I'm enjoying a book when I'm reading it and I get through it pretty quickly. So I liked it. Spice? I really didn't feel like it was that spicy, if I'm being honest.
It had its
moments, huh?
He had a filthy mouth, and I
sure
felt
did.
like I was like, I need more spice. If his mouth is like he has filthy mouth like that, like come on, you have a piercing in there. Come on,
I know. We definitely should have. It needed a little more spice for sure.
I was like, as filthy as he was, especially when he was like torturing her. It's like, really? Come on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
if you're gonna have like a peen piercing, do something with it, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I googled that shit because I was like, what the fuck, vertical? And I'm like, what? Like, okay, but I couldn't find it. I was like, whatever. I guess it's up to the reader's imagination at that point,
right? Oh well. So yeah, I'll keep that kind of middle of the road. It was
4 stars. Is not middle of the road. 3
no, I'm
stars
saying the spice. It was kind of like I could have used a little more. So we'll say close to 3.
I'd say 2 for me, but I'm rating it 3 stars. Okay. It was like it's not bad. It's not the greatest either. I had high hopes. Yeah, it is.
I know. I wasn't sure. Like I know your taste, and I'm like. To me, it gave, like I told you, Sweet Home Alabama vibes but it was darker for sure. It was it wasn't like a.
I love Sweet Home Alabama.
It gave those vibes.
It did give those vibes.
I'm still married.
Right. But for an ex-felon, I mean, granted, yes, he wasn't like a bad boy or whatever, but still, it's like, come on, you've been to prison.
Yeah.
You gotta have like some, like, I don't know, like just give me that bad boy rap, you know?
Well, there's the interesting thing that kept going on in my mind was that he killed someone, but yet that, like he has this bit of darkness, but obviously, other than that, we really don't see it. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it doesn't jive with who he is in the book.
Yeah, like, and I'm pretty sure we would have seen, like, that moment of where he kills somebody on a different book. It's on a different series.
Yeah,
because the couple that he saved had their own book that's coming out this year.
I won't be reading it. They're annoying.
I mean, they're football players, and I'm just like, come on, you gotta have like some angst in there. But it's like a single dad romance too. So I think, and it's I think it's brother's ex or something like that. Anyway, what were we talking about? I was like the bad boy. Yeah, it's like you have like he's overprotective. Like he has a temper-ish, I guess, or whatever, where he has that instinct of like, oh, it's a life or death situation, which is, when you read the book, it has that life or death situation, and I'm just like, I need more action if we're gonna have this mystery and all that stuff, and nothing. So I mean, I know you said like I might like the brothers. I am interested. I'm intrigued, but I don't know. Like, I didn't see enough action,
right,
for the brothers either. When they were helping him, it's kind of like, okay, like I don't know. I might be just like have like that very, very dark romance vibe that I like. That's not gonna be for this author. So I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not gonna judge. I mean, I'm interested. I have it on my TBR, the next book. So, but I have a never-ending
There's so many
TBR.
other
So
things that you're gonna need to be reading, and that's gonna fall by the wayside. Yeah,
right.
I mean, I read this because it was recommended by a lot of different people, and
and again,
I liked it.
I saw everybody that recommended it was like 5 stars, and I'm just like, oh, this vibe, and I'm just like, okay, and I'm just like, like, yikes. But
yeah, I would not have given it 5 stars. No.
I was gonna be honest, I almost DNF'd it, but I was like, you know what? I cannot DNF this because we were gonna talk about it. It's gonna be shitty of me to like not read the book.
Right.
I mean, there were like good parts, I would say. It's like there were like stuff, but again, like it was so obvious half of the time, like the villains of the story, I was like, already know where this is going, kind of thing. So I was just like, it's a little bit predictable. So, or it might not be predictable for other people, but for me, because I've like, when you read mafia romance, those types of thing, you can kind of like figure it out. But yeah, I was just like, I wanted more, especially when this is a romance book too. Like, there's going to be romance between the two characters.
Well,
like, yes, they were high school or college sweethearts, whatever. They were married before, but we never saw that relationship. They just talked about it. So when you're kind of like divorce of convenient, whatever she called the trope, forced proximity and all that stuff, I was like, I needed more.
Yeah.
Like the sexual tension between the two of them, it's kind of like it's there. It's not. I don't know. I wanted more.
All right.
I wanted him to be more.
I won't say anything. I'll wait till we get there. But I'm gonna let us have it with what you thought about Hazel.
I didn't like her.
I know.
I didn't like her. I liked her friends.
Yeah.
Better. Like I'd rather see Dakota's story. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't like her. It's the playing hard to get, but also, oh, I'm in love. I'm gonna still get married to my fiance. To which I was like, but you don't even feel like you're in love with him, because if you are in love with your fiance, you would not agree to Ramsey's deal.
Well,
or she would agree to the deal, but you're not gonna fucking sleep with him. I'm sorry.
Well, like Curtis, was that his name, Curtis, or did I make that up?
Yeah, Curtis. Curtis.
He gave her the green light on it. Like, he was like, I mean, all right, because I know we're gonna get married. I think I looked at it differently. I'm not saying she was my favorite FMC, but I think she was looking at it like, I had the love of my life. He screwed me over. Curtis is safe. At the time, she was thinking, he's safe. He really loves me. He's stable, and she was going for something totally opposite than what she had with Ramsey. So I understood it and I accepted it. But I'll tell you where she annoyed me. The fucking games The fucking games with the cake, the different flavors, like tasting the cake, and it's like,
oh, it's childish.
That's one thing I didn't like about her. You're right. That's exactly the right word.
Late 20s. Pretty sure they're in their late 20s. Yeah. I didn't like it because I was like, when you read Ramsey's point of view, you can tell he's still in love with her. He wants to get back with her. He used the deal to win her back.
Right.
And she was just like, oh, I just want the divorce and the money, whatever. And I'm just going to torture him or what, stuff like that. Like, kind of like show you what you missed out on and kind of thing. And I don't know. I don't know.
She was very immature.
I didn't even care about the cheating either. That there is a cheating in there. Because you can tell, you can pretty much tell she's not in love with Curtis.
Yeah.
You can just have that feeling already. Like when you're reading it, she's not in love with Curtis. That's why she was just like, she didn't even fight with him, when they were discussing the terms and what's going on. It's like, what the fuck kind of relationship do you two have?
But she did say the sex was good with him, didn't she?
No, she was lying. She was faking.
Oh, right.
She was faking it because she didn't, she wasn't comfortable about her kinks, supposed kinks. I don't even know
what. She had trouble getting off.
Yeah.
That's what it
was.
Well,
she has trouble getting off, but then she has some kinks that, she only feels safe with Ramsey. Don't even know what the fuck kinks she has, whatever, besides the point. And she was just basically like trying to appease his ego and lie that Ramsey couldn't get her off. Like,
but let's talk about this. Tell me how funny. It was so funny that she had a dildo, but it was his penis.
Yeah, Curtis's penis. It's like it's molded for him.
It's hilarious.
It's like when they even use it, it was like she was still faking it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like really? That's why I think when you said it's like, oh, there's cheating, and I was like, oh, okay. But then I started reading and I didn't. It didn't even matter because the whole time she didn't even care. She barely texted him. She barely talked to Curtis. It's like she didn't have a fiance all of a sudden. Like the fiance just dropped out the face of the earth. And it's all about Ramsey all of a sudden. Like she, obviously she still loves him, but she just doesn't want to open up her heart. But I'm going to use you because, you can get me off and all that stuff. And I'm just like, okay.
But you know what? I don't like that you're saying that. Because what makes that any different than Jesse Hall's Hawk?
Because he was still in the picture. He's coming home.
Curtis was in the picture?
Barely. Like, he's like almost an afterthought, and then they have to like kill him off. It's like, okay. He wasn't even, like, no, because with the Hawk one, he was literally coming home. They're still sleeping together.
Yeah, but he was an asshole. Like
okay.
Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis is an asshole, but Curtis went somewhere else. Like, again, there was no communication. Like, she texted him and was like, oh, there was fire, whatever. He came back because, because of the plot for it.
Yeah, right.
It's different. It's definitely different.
Okay,
with the one with
if you say so.
Jesse Hall, she had a choice. Like, she could have, like, whatever. We're not talking about the author anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't think it was like super cheating. Like, I guess, like, if we're gonna compare those two books side by side,
Curtis gave the green light. He was like, all right.
The other one's like, no, it's literally cheating.
Yeah.
And the fact that Curtis actually moved out and left, went somewhere.
He wanted
Vegas.
That money.
Right. Like Vegas, and barely talks to her. Like, so it's almost like they broke up.
Yeah. Well, she kept saying that they were kind of like on a break.
Well, they were like, that's the story that they were going for, was they were on a break. So she wasn't really talking to him. Besides that one time that they had phone sex or whatever.
Oh, that was technically so fucking cringy.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, I was like, just hang up on Curtis and concentrate on Ramsey, because obviously you're like concentrating on Ramsey anyway. You barely hear, you barely remember that you're on the phone with your supposedly fiance. So it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Ramsey?
I liked him for the most part. The end pissed me off, but we'll get there. But I liked him. I thought I could see like a sense of humor, like in the beginning when he's like showering outside and all the women are drooling. Like I could see that playing out like in a rom-com, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I did. I liked it. I liked him. And I felt like he took accountability for why he left all those years ago. And he wishes that maybe things could have been different. Like, that's big to me in a book. I need the characters to take accountability. Right. So he definitely did that. And I liked him. Definitely.
Yeah, I liked him too. I was like, I feel like he was more into the relationship than she was, I guess. Like, you know, he was more invested. Because
definitely.
She had it to her like, there is an end expiration date to this and all that stuff. And honestly, like the way she says like, I hated him or whatever because he left me and stuff. And I was like, when it finally figured out like why he left, it's like,
right.
Are you serious right now? Like, are you serious? Like you're pissed off because he didn't want to stay where he found his parents dead.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Very insensitive.
But pretty much like how he described it, it was like she got shot in the head and she's into pieces. Like,
right.
She found them and they were still warm. So like it just happened when he found them. And you wanted him to stay like at that house that they're living in. That's where it happened. All of his memories and all that stuff. Obviously, he's the most, I guess, in touch of his feelings out of all his brothers.
Yeah.
He's the youngest, and I'm sure they were protective of him, like kind of, and there was a chance. And it's not like he wanted to leave her. She had a choice to like go with him, but she was like saying like, no, I'm not leaving this place. So he was just like, okay, well, you go do your dream. I'm not gonna stop you in chasing your dreams, but I'll chase mine. And then that's it. So
but how they worked it out in the end, why didn't they, if they really loved each other,
they could have done it.
They could have worked it out in a similar fashion instead of both of them just throwing their hands up and being, but they were younger. What were they like? I guess
they were in their 20s. Yeah, early 20s. I think he wanted her to go.
Yes.
She didn't want, she was like adamant, like, I'm not leaving. And he, I think when they were talking about it or in his head, like his monologue, it was like, I didn't want her to resent me for not letting her chase her own dream. So it's more or less like, okay, do what you want. But I can't stay here because it's too much. And I feel like if you love somebody and you know that they're grieving and the trauma that what happened to that, like finding your parents dead and whatever, I felt like there's some insensitive part on her part.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't even understand, like, or you didn't even try to understand, and you're supposed to be in love with this person.
Yeah.
So, but that's just me. Like, don't come at me, people.
I was when I was that age, I was that person. Bet I'm packed up. Where are we going? That's who I was. So I couldn't relate to her in that way. Like, I would have been gone.
Because I think it's like she knew what happened. It's not like they were together when it happened. So it's kind of like, well, his way of dealing with his grief is to like not be there to see it. Like, because he even said like the blood never came off. Like, no matter how much they clean it, it's still there. He can see it. That's all he could see. As much as he had a loving family, like happy memories in that house. At that point in time, all he could see is the bad memories.
Yeah.
And it's very insensitive. If you're married, you don't just say like,
oh, absolutely not.
Like, yeah. Then why were you married in the first place if you can't compromise? Yeah. And then when, like, yeah. I feel like she needed a little bit more groveling. Like, sure, her character kind of grew up, whatever. Did she really grow up? I don't know.
There wasn't going to be any groveling because the book painted it out in a different way. It painted it out for him to be the one to kind of grovel.
Yeah, but it's
even though we see it differently,
right?
That's
like, yeah. I feel like for romance, it's always like the male main character has to grovel. Like a female main character can do no wrong, and it's like, well, that again, I know it's not realistic. Like, this is fiction, but at the same time, it's like if you're gonna make our character like develop, they need to be able to be accountable for their actions as well.
They both should have been.
He was accountable. He knew. It's like, yeah, I'm immature. It's like, yes, it's my fault, whatever, you know, all this stuff. She never once said like, oh, I had also my faults.
No.
I mean, I know I skimmed through the book, but there was nothing that says...
If it was me in real life, you asked my husband how many times I've apologized. Because I don't
apologize either, so...
I'm not wrong.
Oh, I mean, I would not back down.
I know.
Because, yeah, but it's different. But I think with them, I mean, I've apologized before. But you have to pull, like, literally, like, pulling teeth about it. But
I'll be like, whatever, I'm sorry.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like,
we didn't up and leave our spouses, so.
Right. I think I'm that type of person. I'm just like, whatever, fuck off. Like,
right.
That's me. But with their situations, like, if I look at it on both perspective, I was like, dude, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, it's just like he was grieving. Like, how she says, like, oh, I hate him and stuff, I thought he did something. It's like, okay, what the fuck did he do?
I know. It's like he went off to follow his dream. He didn't just go off to any random place and just try and start over. He had a great opportunity, his dream.
Not only that, but also at the time when it came, it's like kismet, you know. It came at a time where he needed to get out of there. He wasn't planning on leaving, but then that happened, you know, finding his parents, and then, you know, he was given the opportunity and he was just like, you know, I can start over. It wasn't like he was gonna leave her. He did ask her to come with him, and she said, nope, not leaving. And he's like, okay, I'm not gonna force you.
But
yeah. But when I thought he did like something horrible, like he cheated on her or like something where he should be doing all this groveling.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You hate him because he left, because he was grieving and he was given the opportunity to follow his dreams. Wait, what? Like,
yeah.
What? You had, and I was like, you had the opportunity to go with him, and yet you keep saying, he broke my heart. Like, bitch, you broke your own heart. Like, I'm
it's
sorry.
Not like they had kids tying them there, or, you know, well.
Exactly. They had family. It's not like they can't come home for off season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what they're going to do, like, once they have their happily ever after. It's like, this is what they're doing. It's like, really?
And now that I think about it, how did her brothers co-sign this? Like, why didn't from a man's perspective, why didn't her brothers who turn around and say, well, he was given a great opportunity. You chose not to go too.
They taught, Bo said something like, he was saying, like, at the end when she was the one that's doing the groveling, Bo said, like, you both are very stubborn and independent. And
at the end.
Right, well, yeah. Well, and that's why he was explaining, because like she was saying, like, oh, why never somebody said something to me? And Bo was like, you are stubborn. And when you get it in your head, you don't listen to anybody. You would do the opposite. So we just like let you do whatever the fuck you want, pretty much. And let you come to your own conclusion, kind of thing. So, I mean, obviously, I'm sure they would have, the brothers probably would have wanted her to like, they would have wanted to say something, but then they know how she is. So they were just like, whatever. I'm not dealing with that shit.
Maybe that's why they forgave him so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think they saw it. Like, he didn't really do anything bad. Because they wouldn't, like, say, like, oh, go back with her or whatever. If he did something really, really bad.
Right.
Like, she made the readers think he did something extremely terrible that, like, oh, I can't forgive him. And then you find out this is it. And I'm just like, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna go into the book and just slap you.
That solidified it for you. You're like,
Yeah.
I hate Hazel.
I don't hate her. I just like, good Lord. Like, you are, I'm assuming that she's almost close to her 30s. You're acting like you're in a high school, lady.
I know.
I get it. You're from a small town and all that stuff, but Jesus. Oh. Do you have a favorite scene?
Well, I talked about one of them. It's just a small tidbit when he was showering outside. I thought that was so funny. But that touch of that primal scene, sort of. It's not really primal, but where she's running and he chases after her.
Oh, yeah. I wish they would like... Wait, did they go to the outside the woods?
She got caught in the fence, remember?
Oh, yeah. That was kind of fun, but I wish like there's better spicy scene. Like once he caught her, it's like he just went down on her. They didn't really do anything. It's like, really? That's it? Like, that's it?
What do you want to say? Do you want me to talk about when I found out that
no, I'm just
the one that killed the parents was Curtis's mom? That was a good plot twist.
I knew it, though.
I started to know it as we were going on. I'm like, who is this woman? And why is she so dead set?
Like when she started bad-mouthing Ramsey, I was just like, she's somehow related to this Curtis dude. Like, she's fucking shady as hell. I think one of my favorites, it's not really groveling. Like, her begging was like, you needed to beg more. Like, I felt like she needed to beg more. For like
that, he blew that shit so far out of proportion.
What?
At the end,
what? Like, when she was trying to apologize, she should have like let her grovel a little bit more.
No, she did.
She filed the divorce paper.
In that,
I'm sorry. So she filed the fucking
same thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need to be proactive. I gotta get this shit.
But she promised, be like, I'm not filing it. And they were already kind of get back together. They were in the process, and then she
did it early on. She did it early, and she probably figured, I'm marrying Curtis. Whatever this fucking fool has to say, I don't care. I'm marrying him. I'm not waiting any longer. I don't want to wait another however many days. As much as I don't really care for Hazel's behavior, I would have done the same thing.
Oh, I mean, fair.
That gets me off. I'm like, dude, you're leaving over that shit?
No, I mean, because she hasn't like hinted anything that she wanted him to stay anyway. He was more or less like, hey, I'm doing all this for you. I might stay, I'll probably will stay and all that stuff. Like, again, he's more invested than her.
I feel like the author did a disservice in that scene. It should have been worse. If you wanted to have her have a scene where she's groveling, it had to be more than just filing a piece of paper. It just didn't make sense. I get it. She needed to take accountability, but you needed for her to do, I don't know, something. I mean,
considering she's like, I hated him, and all he did was like leave because he's grieving. Seriously.
Yeah, I know.
Let
that be it then. I don't add that in the mix just because she filed a piece of paper. Jesus, buddy.
I think more for him, it's like they've never lied to each other. For him, that was like, oh, I was gonna talk. He wasn't like when he got that call, he was gonna talk to her, and they can make the decision for both of them. Like, what is our next step? What are we doing? And then she's like, guess what? We're officially divorced. And he's like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah. That should have been it then. I feel like if they would have had a conversation, at least had the conversation, and she's like, well, I'm not leaving, and him be like, I'm fucking done. That would have been more justified. And then let her realize, oh my God, I made a big mistake and I'm chasing after the plane. And, those scenes.
I know. I want her to, where he would have left already and she to his first home game. And that's when she made the big gesture of like, I made a fucking mistake. Not like
falling apart on the floor.
Not like a couple of hours. And then she's like, oh, he left. And then the fact is like, yes, she was crying, sobbing. And then he was just like, felt bad for her. It's not even like a proper groveling. Because he was like, what's wrong? What happened? Like, because obviously he loves her and he doesn't like seeing her hurt or anything. So it's kind of like, well, but okay, I guess that's it. You're forgiven or whatever. Like, I wanted her to do like some big gesture because it's like, okay, it's your turn. Like he didn't really do anything wrong. And for like, even for the friends to be like really mad at him, it's like, okay, I'm all for girl power. Like I'm going to be a ride or die bitch for my friends. But at the same time, somebody has to say something like, be mature and be like, look, he didn't cheat on you. That's not like somebody had to be, there's 4 of them. Somebody has to be logical at some point.
No, let me tell you something. Me and my best friend, Vicky, I'll tell you, she lies and I swear by it. I don't, I'll tell her the truth when it's just her and I, but I would never be like, I don't know.
I mean, I have friends that are, that would lie for me, but then I have friends that will be like, no, you can't do that. Like they're logical, so I know I would not go to them, to like expect them to, like call them.
Yeah, don't come to me, Marjorie, because I'm gonna turn around and be like, no, I'm not, because when you want to write a crazy post, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would. Like, I get it.
You're logical, so like I go to you for logical stuff. But like for somebody's like, oh, can you come to my house? We need a shovel. I know, not you. Like,
no,
I'll go to somebody else, like my other friend.
No, I'm gonna try and talk you off the ledge first.
Yeah. Well, but different things like how Dakota's like, I'm still mad at you. I'm like, okay, petty much.
Yeah. I think I
did like Dakota though. I don't like Dakota.
Yeah. I think a good way to put this book is I still liked it. I'm still going to stand by it because it was entertaining for me. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the reactions or the emotions didn't align with what they actually did in the book. In a lot of ways, in a lot of situations. Like it needed to be bigger. Like I'm not saying cheating or like killed your cat or something, but it had to be like more profound.
Yeah. Yeah, like when when they were trying to protect her about Curtis, that I can understand why she got pissed off. Like that's supposed to be my fiance, and you guys are not telling me that he's fucking shady. Like, and he might be part of whatever, I did like that she was the one who offed him. Kudos for her for taking that.
Yeah.
Like
beat his ass, roll him up in a rug, throw him in the barn, then
they didn't even make it to the barn because he cut himself out, remember?
I thought that happened in the barn. I don't remember.
No, they didn't pat him down. They were still in the house.
Oh, right. Well,
they were bringing him to the barn, but they didn't pat him down. I was like, if he was passed out, like, you're supposed to be passed out for a while, not...
How did he move in the rug? Oh, I guess it was after.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Whatever. Like, it's just, yeah.
I feel like I skimmed that part.
I skimmed that part. I just like waiting for like, who's gonna die? Like, is somebody gonna off him or something? So I was like, I kind of read that part. But like the part where he was like, I don't know what they were doing while he was supposedly passed out. I was just like, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. That was quick. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like that great either for me.
It was on the cusp of like, is this Hallmark or are we going to dark romance?
Like,
where are we at?
It's not dark romance. It's not dark romance.
Well, it's like it
gray
wasn't
area.
Quite,
it's gray area.
It was like stuck somewhere in between.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even like say Hallmarky because there's no comedy in it.
Hallmark mystery show that they had on there. People were dying.
I mean, I don't know. It's just not. I wouldn't say it's dark romance. Was it? Yeah. It's not dark romance. And the dark elements, I guess, for her readers, it might be dark elements. But for me, I was just like, whatever. Okay. They didn't even like really reveal like, okay, what are they finding? Did they find what they were looking for? I felt like there's so many.
It got weird because it was this thing.
Yeah. There was
a relic of some kind.
Right. There was so like, it's like, oh, I'm introducing this plot point, but I'm not finishing it.
Because it's probably going to go on to the brothers.
But it's like, it's mysterious. And then like the ending, it's like, what the fuck is that ending?
Yeah, it didn't.
Like cliffhanger. Like what? Like,
nope.
That's not how you end a standalone, okay? Just saying. Like, the epilogue should have been like, we got married. That's it. Not, go read the next book to see what happens. And I'm like, I want their end. Yes, they had their happily ever after. They did. But then you should have ended at that. Like, they should have never included that whatever.
No, it's to get them to want to read the next book.
But I would have read it, like, because I knew she was hinting for the next book, because I'd be like, well, you can't just like be dropping some of these plots in there without, finishing it.
Yeah.
I still don't like the fact that Ramsey like just killed her off without getting answers. Like, we needed answers. Because then he was like, well, what is going on? And then his older brother's like, well, you kind of offed her before I could ask her questions.
Yeah, the mom.
Yeah, Amelia. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, dude. Trigger happy month.
When in doubt, blame the Russians, right? Wasn't it like Russians or something?
I was just like, what the fuck? Like, but yeah, it was just like weird because it was like they were getting her to talk.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, man. And then he got pissed that they didn't, to his brothers, that they don't have the answer. It's like, well, you did kill the person that we were interrogating in the middle of interrogation. Like, okay. You can be mad at that. I just did. Yeah, I didn't like the ending.
I was okay with it. I mean, I think some things could have been done differently. But again, she could have ended it when he proposed that bar place, whatever. That would have been a great ending, because then there was like, oh, they're happily ever after, and I'm sure we're gonna see them in the next book, having their wedding and all that stuff. That epilogue did not need to be there. I guess that's just me. Okay.
Because then it's a cliffhanger. And we all know, unless it's a fucking trilogy or a duet or a series for one couple, there's not supposed to be a cliffhanger. Yeah. That is just me.
You can die on that hill.
I'm very picky. I'm telling you.
Well, I think I don't have, me with my memory. I don't have any favorite quotes.
I know, I just scribbled that off because I was like, I read it, I finished it today, and I was like just so angry with it that I'm just like, fuck the favorite quote. Why did I write that down that we need a favorite quote when I'm pissed off about this shit?
All right, so we'll just bypass that. I think
I'm not shitting on the book.
You?
Don't get mad at me. I'm not shitting on the book.
We just did all our dislikes. Are there any likes?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's bypass that as well.
My like is, I wonder if Grant and Dakota are gonna be the next one. I thought about that too. I feel like, and I feel like I'm gonna like Grant just because he has that thing where like he's chaotic. He seemed like chaotic. Like, I'm just gonna like keep pushing their buttons. Yeah, and think it's funny. He's like sadistic, you know. But I don't know if I would, because with the way book one is, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. I don't know. Listen, I have like 700 books on my TBR.
Exactly.
I can throw this on there, and I'm just not sure it's going to see the light of day.
Right. I mean, unless I buy the physical copy of the book.
The covers, I love the covers.
I love the covers. So
I mean,
unless I buy the physical copy of the book, then it's going to go to my physical TBR shelf, which I know those I'm reading them eventually. Like,
yeah, I may read it because I am interested. Because again, I liked this book, so who knows? Maybe the second book I'll like better because it'll be a different dynamic,
like a little bit more darker. Yeah,
maybe I will.
I mean, depending on which brother. I like Grant. I'm more interested in Grant than Levi. So, I mean, if it's Grant, then I would probably read it, but I wouldn't be reading it as soon as it comes out. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I have too many things to read. Too.
I know there's too much other shit going on. Okay,
we already talked about the
cheating trope. I don't have a problem with it. I don't necessarily
consider
have an
it
issue
cheating.
With cheating in a book, because the ones that I've read that there is cheating, it's usually like the partner is a dick, so it doesn't bother me. I know how you feel. Just leave, but you know.
But I didn't consider it cheating. Again, Curtis didn't even matter in the situation. That's the only time he mattered was like when he came back, and he was trying to be like, I'm the man.
And I didn't feel like Patrick mattered in Hawk. Yes, I remembered his name because he...
Oh, okay. I didn't even remember. He mattered because, I mean, to me, it was more like he was more present the whole time. Curtis is just like, oh, wait, oh, yeah, I forgot. You're included in the story. You're supposed to be the fiance. Like,
what did you... When you pictured Curtis, what did you picture him to look like? I'm just curious.
I didn't picture him at all. I was just like, I feel like I was picturing like a gangly man trying to be like, I'm an alpha. And he's like,
I pictured like loafers.
He's like, he has 6 inches. He's 6 inches taller than him, and he has 60 pounds more on him weight-wise. And I was like, really? You're gonna puff your chest on a footballer? Like, really? Like, have you lost your goddamn mind?
Yeah, I pictured like this shorter for a man, like 5'9". What?
I don't remember how tall Ramsey is. I know he's over 6 foot.
Like, definitely shorter, but taller than her. Thin, like khaki pants with like loafers and like a polo
like a frat boy.
Yeah, like, but not built by any means. Just like a blonde
frat boy.
Weave. Yeah,
I don't know. He didn't even matter in the story for me to like, what should you look like? Because I feel like they didn't really describe any of them. I mean, she has blue hair.
Yeah.
With dark eyes. He has green eyes. That's about it. With Pierce Peen.
That's all you cared
and he's
about.
footballer, and he's over 6 foot. So I don't know.
All right, I was just making sure I didn't miss anything because I took
We
notes.
talked about that one, like the overreaction. It's like, no. I'm just like, you wanted the divorce? Okay, fine, bye. Like,
We're
I
gonna
feel
agree
like
to
he was just
disagree.
like wasting
Piss
his
me off.
time again. But that's also like me not liking the FMC.
It just annoyed me. I needed more. Like, make it
Well,
worse.
I mean, I understand that. It's like I do think needed more as far as like how their actions are, like the transgression need to be bigger than what
from beginning to end, for sure.
Like when you say, like, oh, I hate him, he broke my heart. He better have broke your fucking heart. And then you're like, what was the reason? Oh, because his parents died and he was the one who found them. Well, not died, like they were murdered.
He was the one who out loud and tell me if you still feel that way. You know, like it's like
he found them. They were still warm. Like they just died. Like, and he was like grieving in tears. Like he might he might not agree their lifestyle, like how they earn their money. But I think he had a good relationship with his parents.
Oh, for sure.
Like they loved him. They that's why when she said that he was a happy-go-lucky, like he jokes around when they were younger because of how his parents are. And the mom, like she did like mom things. It wasn't like he hated them. So yeah, and then, he had the opportunity to get his dream career and you're mad at that? Like,
well, it's safe to say I'm not going to recommend any other books because you shit on everything I like.
Shitting on it. I'm just like saying it's like,
no, I know. There were definitely some issues. But...
like people might think like I'm shitting on the book. Like, no, there was just like, for me, there's like, if you're going to say tell me you fucking hate this person, your ex, and he broke your heart. It like your actions towards him better make sense with the transgression. That's why I was like wondering. It was like the whole time I was like, what did he do? When are they gonna tell me what did he do? And then come to find out this is what he did. It's like, I'm sorry, what? It does not make sense to me.
Even if they threw like a miscommunication trope in there where she thinks he did something and she wouldn't ever listen to him to explain, then I would have
been okay with that. I was like, oh, okay, well, like some as much as I hate fucking miscommunication, like I'm okay with that because then it'd be like, okay, well, her feelings are valid. This one, I'm just like, girl,
I know
he wanted you to go with him, but you said no, and he respected your wishes.
Yeah, it's not like
don't be a baby. Like, that was your decision to like not go with him. Don't be saying like, oh, he left me. I would have been like, be mad if he was just like, he didn't give her a choice. Like, you're not coming with me or whatever. Like, or like he just ran away. Because that's how, almost kind of like what she was hinting was just like, he ran away. Well, then when you like, on his inner monologue, he did ask you.
And it just made it worse.
It's not like, it's not like he just like left you without a note, with like nothing, No, he asked you and you said no. So he's like, okay, let's sign the divorce paper. Because he was there to sign the divorce fucking papers.
Yeah.
So obviously he talked about it. Like, it wasn't like he just left you, So that made me, I think at that point I was just like, why are you even bothering with this chick? What's going to happen? Because like, obviously in his mind, he's like, if they do give me a chance to play ball again for the team, I would take it.
But he did say
But he's also
it was a possibility he wouldn't go depending on her.
Yeah. So he was going to communicate with her. It wasn't like he was going to hide it or whatever. Like, his priority is her and the marriage. And it's not like he hates the town. He still loves it.
Yeah. And enough times pass now. Where
that he's like, I'm okay. So no, I don't think I don't really think he overreacted as much. I still would have loved something like worse.
Well, we're not going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not. I just wanted her to grovel like a bit, like where she's the one who went like to him.
Oh yeah, got on the plane, chased after him. Yeah, that would have been a nice ending for sure.
I like that better than the couple hours later. Like,
that's exactly what it is.
I just snorted. Like, slash the tires, and I was just like, she was overreacting more, I feel like, considering
they both did. I liked him better, but
considering her shots were watered down, so she's not drunk to be like slashing tires over here. Like, she's not drunk. Well, yeah, so I was whatever. It is what it is.
Okay, well, that's our book review. What I know we're not going to talk about the authors that we have coming up this month, but
we already talked about it on the other episode.
But book review wise, for anybody that wants to read and
we have
Unhinged. We have
coming up in March.
I'm actually excited for that.
Yeah, I don't know yet what I'm gonna read. I think I have an arc that I need to read. That like whatever. And I'm still rereading Selena. Let me see. I have the list.
So we got some good things coming up. Well, I think we can at least tell them what books we're going to discuss.
Yeah. Pen Pal. We're discussing Pen Pal as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, the whole Katharina Mora series is coming up.
Okay.
That's 6 books. So we need to have a head start and make lots of notes.
Well, yeah. You know me. I need a whole notebook just for the series.
Yeah. I might, I think they're available on audiobook. I might do an audiobook for it.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this one up in a bow. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on all our socials. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. If you have any authors you'd like to see us have as a guest, shoot us a DM on Instagram at Unfiltered Romance Nights. That's all. See you next time.
Bye.